are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive!
You're waking the neighbors!
No,
Shut up!
no!
What's up, guys? It's Benny. President Truman famously said, if you want a friend in politics, get yourself a dog. Definitely don't count on the human beings in Washington, D.C., who, well, actually behave like dogs. Nancy Pelosi, a rabid Rottweiler here, maybe an angry little Chihuahua, looking extremely guilty as she chants, "We love Joe," at the DNC convention. Look at this. Freaking Lady Macbeth here. Nancy Pelosi was the one who shivved Joe directly in the side and back. She went from his most ardent defender
There's any chance he does
on
not
TV and in politics.
continue running?
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, this president...
David Ignatius recently came out saying he thinks the former president should not run.
Yeah, so that's one.
Look at her face. Look at this. Look at the soul. Like, there's just no soul left, right, in this individual. So much lying and cheating, so much deception. A few months later, fast forward from that interview, a few months, and here's Nancy Pelosi.
Have you talked to him?
Is
my only question.
what I have to do.
Right.
He made the decision for the country. My concern was not about the president, it was about his campaign.
All available evidence says that Nancy Pelosi is the one who literally traveled there to tell Joe Biden that he's no longer running for president. Evil, evil witch. Joe Biden's own family admits this.
A speaker emeritus that would say, well, you know, I'm going to leave it up to, but I don't know. And they had already made a decision. They had clearly made a decision. And when I say they, I mean the speaker.
Nancy Pelosi drove Joe Biden out of the race. More than any one person, Hunter Biden admits Pelosi was the one who drove his dad out of the race. They made a decision. The Speaker of the House made a decision. Now we're learning that even Barack Obama was kind of surprised at all of this, at the Machiavellian evil of Nancy Pelosi. Man, you listen to people who work in Congress talk about what Pelosi is like in person. She is truly the personification of evil. Obama's reaction to Pelosi's surprise endorsement of Kamala Harris revealed. What the F did you just do? Former President Barack Obama was not happy with Nancy Pelosi's quick endorsement of Kamala Harris, and he let it be known on a phone call with the Speaker. Pelosi described Harris as brilliantly astute and full of confidence. The ex-California senator could defeat Trump in her endorsement, which came less than 24 hours after she knifed Joe Biden in the back. Obama, who preferred to let the process determine Trump's Democratic Party opponent, called Pelosi shortly after the endorsement to vent his frustration. According to a book called Retribution. The Obamas were not happy, a Pelosi confidant told Carl, according to the excerpt obtained by the Daily Mail. One person summed up the message to Pelosi, "What the F did you do?" Exclusive, Obama's furious call to Pelosi after Biden betrayal. Obama called her and said essentially, "What the F did you just do?" Pelosi, told the former Democrat president that the train has left the station. The endorsement had come as a surprise to Obama, because he and Pelosi had been in regular communication, and it appeared that the 81-year-old Biden was nearing a decision to drop out of the race. They agreed that Harris should not simply be handed the nomination unchallenged. Therefore, Obama and Pelosi, arguably the two most influential figures in the Democrat Party, had privately agreed to abstain from making any endorsements. But instead, Pelosi just sabotaged Obama too. The president had a shockingly awful debate, followed by an uneven sit-down interview. He even made several eyebrow-raising gaffes, including calling Ukrainian President Putin at a NATO summit and so on. Those fumbles didn't help Biden address mental competency concerns, and he appeared so physically frail that the Secret Service agents had to get him into the back of an SUV when he walked out to Rehoboth, Delaware, after an emergency trip back home. You remember this. And this kind of explains that cringe Kamala Harris Joe Biden endorsement, doesn't it? This is this is so funny, and it's just really interesting to me to watch how this all played out actually behind the scenes, because it seemed so haphazard, like it was clearly fake, right? You remember this thing where it was supposedly Barack Obama and Michelle Obama on a phone call with Kamala Harris, but it was filmed in different locations at different times. Kamala Harris talking on a headset, then Kamala Harris talking on her phone. It was Kamala Harris had a microphone on. It was all filmed incorrectly. They were clearly stitching it all together. Kamala Harris made sure that she wore her $60,000 Tiffany's necklace while she did it. Isn't that amazing? You remember this? It was just like a nightmare. The whole thing seemed so haphazard. It seemed so rushed, so collapsed. It was from there that he decided to abort his re-election bid, putting out a statement on July 21st and endorsing Harris soon after. Around 1 p.m. the next day, Pelosi endorsed Harris, leaving Obama miffed. The former president wanted to know what had happened. Why had Pelosi issued a statement endorsing Harris so soon? Why hadn't he and Pelosi agreed days earlier that the party leaders were not going to anoint Harris? That would be a mistake. One source close to Obama told the author of the book that the former president wasn't actually angry at Pelosi over the endorsements, characterizing the conversation as ribbing. But other sources claim that Obama was genuinely irritated by Pelosi's move, using four-letter words to describe the tone. Effing pissed. A senior Biden advisor, also worked for Obama White House, told Carl that the real reason Obama didn't want Pelosi to endorse Harris so quickly was that the former president didn't think that Kamala Harris could win. There's only one black Jesus, the senior Biden advisor quipped. Someone even closer to Pelosi was surprised at the former House Speaker's decision on Pelosi's own husband. Kamala, Paul Pelosi said. Don't start with me, said Nancy Pelosi in the conversation shortly after the endorsement. Okay. Well, it's a total nightmare, and it's something that obviously is still playing out in real time. And Nancy Pelosi looking just beat up after President Trump's landslide victory because of her endorsement. And
any second thoughts about what happened last summer or with
I don't have any second thoughts, but I do have a second thought about the Republicans. If they want to measure mental acuity or sanity, they ought to look to their own president, because the president of the United States, who was asked one question and answers by saying President Obama is guilty of treason, he is not of sane mind. But no, I have no second thoughts. I think that
backstabbing Joe Biden.
He was a great president. He accomplished remarkable things in a 2-year period where we had the majority. He had accomplishments that were seen in the same light as LBJ, Franklin Roosevelt. He didn't have as long a tenure as they did, but he had the quality of legislation, make a difference in people's lives. It's unfortunate that it went down this path, but I think that history will treat him well, because he did great things for our country. A super patriot, loved America, honored our Constitution, a big contrast to...
So it's totally worth remembering just how evil these people were to Joe Biden. Joe Biden's no victim necessarily, but his own family understands this. Hunter Biden snapping on the actual overall Democratic Party kind of sums up the way that the Biden family expresses on this moment.
Opinions, but fuck him, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40, $50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Not to mention...
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper...
My mom or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real, though. I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No,
because
no.
by the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news. And beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.